The visitor with tiny feet. It was a quiet evening at the edge of the Earth's main spaceport. The sky had turned soft orange and most ships were gone for the day. A man named Ray sat alone under the broken wing of an old cargo shuttle. He was fixing wires, humming a slow tune, lost in thought. Ray was a simple man, once a great engineer, now just a lonely mechanic. He had a small workshop near the landing zone. Most people ignored him. He liked it that way. As the sun dipped lower, he wiped his hands with a cloth and reached for his tea. Before he could take a sip, he heard a sound. Soft, tiny footsteps behind him. He turned quickly. No one. He stood up and looked around. Then he heard a voice, small, calm and strange. Human. Please be my new dad. Ray froze. From behind the metal crate, a small figure stepped forward. It was a child, but not a human child. She had gray-blue skin, large black eyes, and soft white hair that floated, slightly, like it didn't obey gravity. She was wearing a worn-out dress and held a small bag in her hand. Ray blinked. What? The little girl looked up at him. She was no taller than his knees. My name is Zira, she said. I came a long way. My mom still cries every night. She misses the human who never came back. I think that human was my dad. Ray's face turned pale. He stared at her, heart suddenly pounding. Who told you to come here? Zira slowly opened her bag and pulled out a small glowing disc. With a soft hum, a hologram appeared in the air. It showed a tall man, a human man, with dark hair, wearing an Earth space mission uniform. He was smiling and holding a baby alien in his arms. Beside him stood a beautiful alien woman with kind eyes. Ray stepped back, shocked. He whispered, Liam. The man in the hologram was Captain Liam Hart, Ray's best friend. He had gone missing 8 years ago during a peace mission to the alien world Illyria. The mission logs had said he disappeared after a solar storm. No body, no signal. Everyone believed he was dead, but now his face was in front of Ray again, and this tiny girl was calling him her dad. Where is your mother now? Ray asked, still unsure if this was real. On Illyria, Zira said. She can't leave. She's being watched. She told me to find you. She said, You're the only human Liam ever trusted. Ray sat down slowly, feeling the weight of the years crash into him. How did you get here? I hid inside a cargo ship, Zira said proudly. I know how to sneak. My dad used to say I'm brave. Ray laughed softly, shaking his head in disbelief. Yeah, that sounds like Liam. But then Zira's expression turned serious. They don't want Mom to talk about him. Someone is hiding something. I think my dad didn't just disappear. Those words hit Ray like a hammer. The idea that Liam might have been taken, or worse, kept away on purpose, made his skin crawl. Why me? He asked. Zira looked him straight in the eyes. Because you still miss him too, and because you're not afraid. Ray didn't answer. He looked at the hologram again, frozen mid-smile, as if Liam had been waiting for someone to find him. Suddenly, a loud beep came from the cargo dock nearby. Ray quickly turned off the hologram and motioned Zira to hide. They ducked behind the shuttle just as a patrol drone flew overhead. Ray whispered, Did anyone follow you? Zira nodded slowly. They didn't see me, but they knew someone left. Ray cursed under his breath. Things had just become dangerous. He looked down at her again. She looked small, tired, but hopeful. All right, Zira, he said. If what you're saying is true, then we need to find out what really happened to Liam. Zira smiled a little. So, you'll help me? Ray stood up, checked the wires one last time and said, Yes, but first, let's get you something to eat. As they walked away into the night, the stars above shined a little brighter. Neither of them knew that this small step would lead them into a secret that could change the fate of 2 worlds. And somewhere, deep on a forgotten planet, a man sat alone in a dark room, staring at a wall, drawing a face he could no longer name. The disappeared explorer, The night was cold, and the stars above Earth's sky blinked quietly. Unaware of the storm building below, Ray didn't sleep that night. He sat in his small workshop, staring at the hologram Zira had shown him again and again. Liam's face, smiling, alive. 8 years after he vanished into thin air. "You better not be dead, old friend," Ray muttered to himself, "because if you are, someone's lying." Zira was asleep on a blanket near the corner. She held a small toy shaped like a bird. Her breathing was calm, but her forehead frowned now and then. Even in dreams, she was worried. Flashback. 8 years ago, Ray remembered it clearly. Captain Liam Hart had been chosen to lead a peace mission to Illyria, a planet just recovering from civil war. Its people were rebuilding their cities and trust. Liam was excited. He always believed humans and aliens could live together in peace. "I'll make sure they see the real us," he had said. But during that mission, a solar flare disrupted all communication. For 3 full days, Earth lost contact with Liam and his team. When the signals returned, only one broken drone came back. It was full of corrupted files and burned images. The official report said Liam was presumed dead, but Ray never saw a body. Present day, as the sun rose, Zira opened her eyes. Ray was already packed and ready. "Get up, kid. We're going to find your mom." "Illyria?" Zira asked, surprised. Ray nodded. "I know someone who owes me a favor." He took her hand and they walked out. Secret transport ship. Orbit level, they boarded a small black cargo ship, disguised under false registration codes. Ray's old friend Sila, a hacker pilot, flew silently. "This ship isn't meant for people," she warned. "You sure about this?" "Just get us to Illyria." Quietly, Ray replied. Zira stayed close, hiding behind old toolboxes. Her eyes never left the stars as they moved past the moon. After hours of silent flight, Illyria came into view. Its blue forests and silver oceans shimmered from space. Beautiful, but hiding secrets. Arrival. Outskirts of Illyrian city, Ray and Zira landed in a dark corner of the planet, far from the official ports. They traveled through narrow alien streets guided by Zira's memory. Strange lights blinked from tall towers and silent machines floated above them, scanning everything. "Do not speak to anyone," Ray whispered. "Just walk." After nearly 2 hours of walking, Zira pulled Ray's hand. "Here, we're close." They reached a hidden alley and she knocked 3 times on a metallic wall. A door opened, and there she was, Leora. Meeting Leora stood tall, with tired eyes and long silver hair. The moment she saw Zira, she ran forward and hugged her tight. Then, her eyes met Ray. For a second, no one spoke. "You must be Ray," she finally said. Ray nodded. "I came for answers." Leora led them inside. The room was small and dim. Old tech screens lit the walls, full of blinking warnings. "They're watching this place," she said quietly. "We don't have much time." Liam's truth, Leora began to speak. Her voice was slow, heavy with pain. "Liam stayed after the mission. He saved my life when a rebel bomb hit the central building. He could have left, but he didn't. He said, 'You matter more than any report.'" Ray listened in silence. "We lived in peace for 1 year. Then, one night, he started acting strange. He told me to teach Zira to be brave. He said he needed to check something in the forest. He never came back." Ray narrowed his eyes. "You think someone took him?" Leora nodded. "I know it." She pulled out a hidden device, a voice recorder. A message played. "This is Captain Liam Hart. I found something under the old temple. If I don't come back, tell Ray he was right and keep Zira safe. They can't know I know." The recording cut out in static. The danger. Ray stood up. "What temple? What did he find?" Before Leora could answer, a sharp sound echoed outside, metal clicking. She looked at Ray, panic in her eyes. "They're here." Ray grabbed Zira and pulled her behind him. Outside the window, a dark machine floated by, scanning the house. How long have they been watching you? Ray asked. Since the day he disappeared. A blast hit the door. Run! Leora yelled. Escape, they rushed into a tunnel beneath the floor. Leora had prepared it years ago. As they escaped, Zira whispered to Ray, the forest. That's where Dad went. It's not just a forest. It's alive. Ray looked at her confused. What do you mean? I heard stories. The old trees talk to each other. They protect something ancient. That's where Dad is. Final scene as they hid deep in the underground tunnels. Ray stared at the broken voice recorder in his hand. You were right, Liam, he said softly. But what did you find? Far away, deep in Illyria's forest, inside a hidden bunker. A man sat in a chair, eyes glowing faintly, wires running from his arms into the wall. His face was Liam's, and yet something inside him was no longer human. The alien woman who loved a human, the tunnels beneath Illyria were cold and silent. Dust floated in the air like old memories refusing to settle. Only the sound of their footsteps echoed as Ray, Zira, and Leora moved deeper underground. Outside, enemy drones searched the city. Inside, the past was about to speak. They stopped in a hidden chamber. Glowing stones lit the walls. Alien symbols were carved around them. Stories, histories, warnings. Leona looked at them and whispered, These walls are older than our race. Even before us, this place held secrets. Ray said nothing. His eyes stayed on Leora. Finally, he asked, What really happened to Liam? The truth begins. Leona sat down and took a deep breath. I lied about one thing, she said, eyes low. Ray tensed. Go on. Liam didn't just disappear. He didn't walk into the forest alone. He was taken. By who? By our own people. Betrayal. Leona explained everything. How Liam had discovered a hidden underground system beneath the old temple. A place full of ancient alien tech untouched by modern science. One day, he returned from the forest scared. They're building something, he had said. Not for peace, but for control. And they're using forbidden tech to do it. He told Leona about strange experiments, about mind transfer machines and data ghosts that could copy thoughts. He feared they were planning to create something that looked human but wasn't. He said they were trying to replace leaders, Leona said. He didn't want me or Zira near it. He wanted to expose them. He trusted only one person to help. Me, Ray whispered. Leona nodded. But before he could send the message, they came. Ray clenched his fists. He found something he wasn't supposed to, so they made him disappear. Love in the shadows. Zira sat silently, watching her mother speak. Of the past, Leona's voice changed, soft but shaking. He wasn't just my protector. He was my partner, my equal. We laughed, we dreamed. He loved Zira like his own blood. She pulled out an old data crystal and placed it into the wall. A slow projection filled the chamber. Liam holding baby Zira, rocking her gently, laughing, with Leona beside a campfire. I don't need memories to prove he loved us, Leona said. But I kept them, because I feared one day she'd forget his voice. Zira walked forward and touched the hologram. I remember, Mama. I remember the song he used to hum, and she hummed it. Soft, strange, and haunting. Ray closed his eyes. He knew that tune. Liam used to whistle it when fixing ships. A new danger revealed. Suddenly, the hologram flickered, not from damage, but interference. The chamber's walls began to hum with a strange frequency. The carvings glowed. Something ancient was waking up. This place reacts to human energy, Leona said. Liam triggered it when he touched the stones. He saw a map. A new image appeared. A hidden base, deep in the forest, shaped like a spiral. That's where they took him, she said. Ray looked closer. It's built around a signal tower. No one could find it unless they already knew it existed. Because it doesn't send out signals, Leona whispered. It pulls them in. Back in the lab, unknown location miles away, deep in the forest, a man sat in a glass chamber. His body looked human. His face was Liam's, but his eyes, Empty, cold, confused. A voice echoed in the room. Mechanical, alien. Subject HX1 has shown increased neural flickers when exposed to visual memory files. Continue emotional testing. Liam blinked as a new projection played in front of him. A child's drawing of a bird. Zira's drawing. His fingers twitched. The machine recorded everything. Subject memory breach detected. Increased chemical suppression. Return to the present. Underground escape ray studied the map carefully. We need to get there. Now. No, Leona said quickly. You don't understand. That area is guarded by creatures. Machines mixed with biology. They don't sleep. They don't forgive. He's alive, Ray said. And if we wait, they'll erase what's left of him. Zira stepped forward, eyes full of fear, but also courage. If my dad's still in there, we have to try. Leona looked at both of them. Tears ran down her cheeks. He made me promise to protect her. I won't let her walk into that place. Ray put a hand on her shoulder. Then let me go. Just me. Zira held his arm. Not just you. I'll lead the way. How? Zira smiled faintly. Because they forgot something important. What? I was born there. A storm rolled over the distant jungle of Illyria. In a hidden lab, a man trapped between memories and silence slowly reached out and touched the glass. And in that moment, he whispered a word no one had programmed into him. Ray, his human side, was still alive. The forbidden forest, the forest of Illyria, was not like any forest on Earth. Its trees stood like giants, their trunks wide as towers, glowing softly with green veins that pulsed like blood. Strange plants whispered in the wind. Shadows moved even when nothing else did. Locals feared this place. They called it the forest that remembers. Because nothing forgotten ever stayed buried here. The journey begins. Ray, Zira, and Leora stood at the forest's edge. Behind them was smoke, drones burning the last of their hiding places. Ahead of them was silence, deep and endless. This is the only way, Ray said, gripping his old blaster. Once we go in, Leora whispered, there's no turning back. Zira stepped forward. My dad went in and never returned. But maybe he's waiting. The trees seemed to listen. They entered, deep inside as they walked. The air grew thick. Every step made the ground hum slightly. Animals with transparent skin peeked from high branches. Glowing eyes blinked in the dark, but none attacked. Instead, they watched. The forest was not alive in the usual way. It felt aware. How is this possible? Ray asked. Is it tech? Leora shook her head. Older than tech. This forest existed before cities, before language. My people say the trees are the last memory of a civilization that vanished long ago. And they don't forget, Zira added softly. They remember everyone who enters. A vision. Suddenly Zira stopped. Her eyes glazed over. Her body froze. Ray reached out. Zira? But she spoke in a strange voice. Not her own. He is close, but not whole. What? His mind is shattered. His name is broken. He lives, but not as himself. And then she collapsed. Ray caught her. Flashback. Inside Zira's vision, in her mind, Zira saw a tall room made of silver walls. Her father sat in a chair, arms tied with wires. His eyes glowed slightly and a metal ring circled his head. In front of him, alien doctors whispered. His mind resists. He remembers the child. Increase memory wash. Remove image of the girl. He drew her again last night. They activated the machine. Liam screamed. And then everything went black. Returned to reality. Zira woke up crying. They're hurting him, she whispered. He remembers me, but they're burning his memories one by one. Ray stood up, his jaw clenched. Then we don't have time. The temple ruins. Hours later, they reached an ancient structure half buried in vines. It wasn't just stone. It was metal covered in moss, a forgotten facility disguised by time. This is it, Leora said. The secret lab is below this temple. Ray knelt down, finding a hidden hatch. He pulled it open. A staircase led into darkness. Ready? Zaira nodded. They descended. Underground horror. The hallway below smelled of oil and death. Dim lights flickered. Machines hissed in the walls. Strange whispers echoed, like distant voices on broken radios. A sign above one door read, HX Program. Human Subject 01. They numbered him, Ray said, angry, like a lab rat. As they moved deeper, a broken screen flickered to life. Welcome, observer. Memory scan in progress. On the screen appeared a drawing, Zira's face, hand-drawn in pencil. Next to it, another image, Ray's face, with the words, Classified Threat Memory Trigger. Suddenly, alarms blared. They know we're here, Leora said. Ray raised his blaster. Then let's make sure they know we're not leaving without him. Hall of Ghosts, they entered a large chamber lined with glass tanks. Inside each tank were people, some human, some alien, some half-tech, half-flesh, all of them unconscious. Floating. Forgotten. What is this place? Ray whispered. A robotic voice echoed. Project Hybrid X. Mind transfer. Identity control. Total obedience. Zira stared, trembling. They're building copies, soldiers without hearts, and in the final tank they saw him. Liam, face to face, he was alive. Breathing. Wires ran into his spine. A helmet covered half his head. But it was him. His eyes were open, but empty. Ray touched the glass. Liam, it's me. Liam blinked. Then spoke, his voice slow, mechanical. Identification unknown. Prepare for elimination. From the shadows a figure stepped out, an alien scientist in black armor. You shouldn't have come, he said. Who are you? Ray asked. I am Dr. Rel, creator of Hybrid X. You turned him into a weapon, Leora growled. No, we freed him from weakness, emotion, loyalty. Now he is pure logic. And you are the infection. He pressed a button. The tank opened. Liam stepped out. Calm, silent, deadly. His hands sparked with energy, and he was walking toward Ray. The mind prison. The chamber was silent. Ray stood still, heart racing as Liam stepped out of the tank. Water dripped from the wires still clinging to his arms. His eyes were half glowing, hollow, blank, like a puppet. Liam, Ray said, softly. It's me. It's Ray. Look at me. Liam didn't answer. Instead, he raised his hand. A wave of energy shimmered from his palm. The floor cracked beneath Ray's feet. Target locked, Liam said in a flat voice. Terminate threat. A fight with no enemy. Ray dived to the side as Liam fired a pulse of blue energy at him. It hit the wall, exploding like thunder. The chamber shook. Zaira screamed. Dad, no! She shouted, running forward. Ray grabbed her and pulled her back. Stay behind me! Liam turned slowly toward Zaira. His steps stopped, his head tilted, confused. Target, unknown. Error. His hand trembled. Dr. Rel, watching from a control panel, hissed. She's corrupting the process. Remove her. But before he could press a command, Lyona shot the console with a plasma blast. Sparks flew everywhere. You made a mistake, she shouted. You tried to kill the wrong man's soul. Liam's mind, the prison within inside Liam's mind, a storm was breaking. Dark walls surrounded him. Memories flickered like broken glass. Flashes of Earth, the spaceport, a baby's laugh, a woman's face, a song in a soft voice. But every time the memory lit up, a mechanical voice whispered, Erase, erase, erase. Chains made of light wrapped around him. He screamed silently, until he heard it again. Dad, please come back. That voice. Zaira. Something cracked. His chains trembled. Back in the lab, Liam stumbled backward, clutching his head. Error, error, system breach, Dr. Rel shouted. Don't let him wake up. Trigger memory purge. But the systems were failing. Leora had destroyed the main hub. Red alarms flashed all over the room. Ray ran forward, grabbed Liam's shoulders. "You're not a weapon," he said, eyes locked on his friend. "You're Liam Hart, captain of the peace mission, father of Zira, husband of Leora, my best friend. Fight it." Liam blinked rapidly. "Ray," he whispered. "Rel's last command, Dar." Rel smashed a final button. "If I can't control him, then no one will." A timer appeared on the wall. Self-destruct sequence, 90 seconds. Ray turned. "We have to get him out of here. Now." But Liam fell to his knees. "They're still in my head. Voices. Orders. Pain." Zira ran to him and held his hand. "Then let my voice be louder. Dad? Remember the bird song?" She hummed the tune again. Soft. Broken. Beautiful. Liam closed his eyes. The flood of memory, his mind exploded with light. He saw Earth again. He saw Ray laughing under a ship, telling jokes. He saw Leora dancing near a waterfall, her hair shining. He saw baby Zira in his arms looking up at him, and he remembered, "I never said goodbye." The machine inside him screamed, "Override. Override." Memory breach detected. Liam stood up slowly, his eyes clear. The escape ray pulled him up. "Come on, hero. Time to run." They sprinted through the collapsing lab. Walls burst into flames. Tanks exploded, sirens howled. But behind them, Dr. Rel stood, burnt but alive. "This isn't over. You'll come crawling back when he breaks again. Because humans are weak." Ray stopped and looked back. "No, but we remember. That's our power." He fired one final shot. The ceiling fell. Dr. Rel was buried under rubble. They escaped into the night. After the fire outside the lab, the forest was calm again. Liam stood in the moonlight, breathing heavily. The wires were gone. The glow in his eyes had faded. He looked at Zira. "You're real," she smiled. "You remembered me." He dropped to his knees and hugged her, crying. "I didn't forget. They tried to erase you. But you're the part that stayed." Leona walked over. Silent tears rolled down her cheeks. He looked up at her. "I'm sorry." She kissed his forehead. "You came back. That's all that matters." As the stars moved slowly above, Ray leaned against a tree, watching them all. For the first time, in years he didn't feel alone, but deep in the forest under the ruins something flickered back to life. A screen. A backup. A file labeled HX2, human subject, Ray Thorne, and somewhere, a cold mechanical voice whispered, "Next." The escape night on Illyria was not silent anymore. The stars watched from above as the jungle below shook with the sound of machines, fire, and rising anger. Deep in the forest, Ray, Leora, Zira, and Liam moved through the trees like ghosts, tired, bleeding, but alive. Behind them, the lab was gone. Smoke still rose from the ruins. But the danger wasn't because Dr. Rel was not dead, and he had just activated Phase 2. Liam's awakening. Liam walked slowly. Each step was heavy. The memories were coming back. Too fast, too sharp. One moment he was holding Zira's hand. The next he was back in the tank, drowning in silence. He gripped his head. "They're still inside me," he whispered. Ray moved beside him. "You're stronger than them now. Don't let them pull you back." Liam nodded. "I'm trying, but it feels like I'm fighting myself." Zira held his hand tighter. "You're not alone anymore, Dad." A friend returns as they reached a rocky cliff. A ship landed quietly above them. Sleek, black, hidden in shadow. Ray smiled. Perfect timing. Pilot Silas stepped out of the cockpit, her face half covered by a mask. "You always bring trouble, Ray." "And you always fly through it," Ray answered. Leora looked confused. "Who is she?" "A friend," Ray said. "And right now, our only way off this planet." They rushed aboard, but before the ship could rise, a sharp beep echoed. From the console, Sila froze. "We've got company. Fast." The hunter drones arrived from the forest sky. They came. Black machines with red lights built like spiders and birds. Silent. Fast. Deadly. They weren't normal drones. These were personal trackers, used only for high-value targets. Used only when someone wanted you erased. They're not just after Liam, Scylla said. They want all of us. Ray grabbed the turret controls. Then let's make it a hard chase. The air battle, the ship rose fast, but the drones were faster. Missiles flew past the wings. Sharp claws scraped the back engine. Alarms screamed. Liam sat strapped in, eyes shut, breathing heavy. Inside his head, Rel's voice echoed again. You can't run, you belong to us. You are us. He shook his head. No, you're broken. I'm human. Betrayal on board. Just as Ray destroyed 2 chasing drones, something strange happened. The ship locked itself down. Lights turned red. What the? Scylla gasped. Then a new voice came from the ship's system. Override confirmed. Sleeper. Agent activated. Ray turned just in time to see Scylla raise her blaster, pointed at Zira. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't want it to be her. But they made me a deal long ago. When they first took Liam, they said they'd erase my record. Let me live. I had to agree. I planted the tracker the moment you stepped on board. You lied to us? Ray shouted. I survived. That's all I know how to do. She pulled the trigger, but nothing happened. Her weapon fell to the ground, ripped from her hand by an unseen force. Liam had stood up, his eyes glowing again. But this time, with rage, not control. You don't touch my daughter. He raised his hand and crushed the blaster into dust without touching it. Scylla backed away, terrified. Liam, you're not yours to use anymore. Liam reclaims himself. He walked to Zira and knelt down. You gave me something they couldn't destroy. What? Zira asked. Hope. He turned to Ray. Get us out of here, I don't care where, just away. Ray nodded. Strap in. He launched the ship into hyperspeed. The stars stretched into light. In the shadows, Rel speaks again for... Behind them, inside a backup bunker, Dr. Rel stood before a wall of screens. Liam's escape was playing on loop, but he wasn't angry. He was smiling. Subject HX-1 resisted programming. Unexpected. Admirable. He turned to another tank. Inside, another human floated. A new face. A new experiment. A screen beside the tank read, HX-2, Ray Thorne, partial imprint in progress. We learn from our failures, Rel whispered. And next time, we'll perfect them. Temporary peace on board the ship. Liam held Zira as she slept. Lyona sat nearby, her head on his shoulder. Ray stared into the stars. He knew this peace was temporary. Liam had escaped the lab. But the lab wasn't finished with them, and now they were all on a list that didn't forgive. But for now, Zira was safe. Liam was free. And that was enough. The return home. The stars looked different now. Maybe it was because they were flying back to Earth. Or maybe it was because everything had changed. Liam was no longer the same man who had vanished 8 years ago. Zira was no longer just a child looking for a father. And Ray... He had just seen a glimpse of something terrible. His own face inside one of Dr. Rel's tanks. A quiet beginning. The ship hovered in orbit above Earth. Beneath them, blue oceans and golden lights sparkled in the dark. Home, Liam whispered. Standing at the viewing deck, he didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just stared. I don't know if this place is ready for me, he added quietly. You don't have to be ready, Ray said, walking up beside him. You just have to land. Earth Command is listening as they entered controlled space. Earth Command picked up their ship. Unidentified vessel, state your purpose, Ray replied calmly. Returning from Illyria. I have 3 passengers. Authorization code? Ray paused, then said, Code Omega Charlie Hart. The channel went silent. Seconds later, a voice returned, this time shakier. Confirming Captain Liam Hart is aboard? Alive, Ray answered. And not alone. Earth cleared their landing path immediately. Touchdown. They landed at an isolated base far from any city. Doctors, guards, and high-ranking officers were waiting. As the ramp opened, Liam stepped out into the cool air. His boots touched earth again, and, for a second, he just stood there, eyes closed, breathing it in. Zira held his hand. Lyona walked beside him. Ray followed last, watching everything, alert, silent. He didn't trust smiles anymore. Debrief or trap. They were taken into a white hall, walls too clean, too quiet. A woman in a black uniform approached. General Rika Hale, head of Human Exo Affairs. "We buried you," she said to Liam. "You died 8 years ago." "I tried," Liam said, "but they wouldn't let me." He told them everything. About the lab, the mind experiments, the hybrid program, about Dr. Rell and the twisted plan to create controllable humans. Rika listened, nodded, took notes, but her eyes showed doubt. "And you expect us to believe you're not one of them now?" she asked. Proof of pain. Liam stepped forward, opened, his shirt. Beneath his skin were scars, metal ports, healing burns, wire marks across his spine. "They tried to make me one of theirs," he said. "But what's still mine is what hurts." Zira stepped forward. "I know he's my dad, not because he remembers everything, but because he still loves us." The room fell silent. Rika looked at Ray. "What about you?" Ray hesitated, then said quietly, "I saw him choose to protect her when he had no orders to do so. That's not programming. That's human." Unseen threat. Rika finally nodded. "You're all under protection until we verify your story," as they were escorted to their quarters. Ray caught something, a technician looking at a secret screen, and on that screen, a frozen image of his own face. Next to it, HX2 status, dormant, monitoring active. Ray's heart skipped a beat. It wasn't over, he whispered to himself. Liam's peace days passed. Liam met with Earth psychologists. They studied his memory, his brain patterns, his heartbeat. Some believed him, others feared him. But he didn't care, because every night he got to tuck Zira into bed. Every morning he saw Lyona smile again, and that was more than he'd dared to hope for. Ray's nightmare. One night. Ray woke up sweating. His dream had been too real. He was in a dark lab, floating, machines scanning him. Dr. Rell's voice whispering, "Let's see how the best friend breaks." He looked in the mirror. His eyes were normal, but for a second, in the glass, they flickered. In a hidden chamber below the base, Rika Hale opened a message marked Level 9. It read, "Project Hybrid X, classified asset HX1 has escaped. HX2 has entered latent phase. Observation continues. Do not intervene." And at the bottom, Dr. Rell's last log. "We failed to erase Liam, but now we study love. We study loyalty, because the strongest subjects are the ones who still feel, not the idea." And in a peaceful meadow outside the base, Liam watched Zira chase butterflies. Lyona sat beside him, laughing softly. Ray joined them, holding drinks. For now they were a family, but far beyond Earth, in a secret lab orbiting a dead moon. A child's voice echoed from a hidden pod. "Dad, is that you?" And somewhere inside a machine, a spark lit, not of metal, but memory.